How are you doing? How are you doing today?
It's too busy for my job.
You're really busy?
Yes,
Okay, you
just
can
today.
say, I've been really busy. I've been really busy. Okay, so today we're going to talk about these fossils that are found, and they're these giant millipedes. So if you're, let's start with this article first. Eugene, can you read the first paragraph, and I'll have Chopper read the second paragraph.
Okay. If you are afraid of insects, this might be difficult reading. A fossil found on a beach in England shows that the biggest bug that ever lived was the size of a small car. The fossil is of a giant millipede. This monster creature could have had hundreds of legs. Although the name millipede means 1,000 legs in Latin, few species actually have 1,000 feet. There is one species that can have 1,300 legs.
The fossil hunters in England said what they found is definitely the biggest bug that ever lived. They said the millipede was around 2.7 meters long and weighed over 50 kilograms. This would have been a scary sight. It would need a huge amount of insect spray to keep it away.
Okay, so what might the good and bad things be if insects were the size of a car? Iris, what do you think?
Okay, I think these creatures is disgusting. Yeah, I Google it. Very scary. And I think large insects might be good for our environment. They can balance the ecology. Yeah, and the bad things maybe if insects overbreeding will destroy the ecology. Yeah. And I can't imagine the size of a car of insects.
You can't think of anything good or bad?
If humans overbreeding, maybe will destroy the nature.
Okay.
Or something. Yeah.
Right. Okay, Chopper, what do you think about this?
If insects were the size of a car, I think it's good things. people can uh, people don't only eat chickens, cows, or pigs. People can eat people can eat insects, because the huge insects can provide a lot of protein. Yeah, but the bad thing is that it looks so scary and disgusting.
Okay, Eugene, what do you think?
I think if insects were the size of a car, and the good things are maybe we could ride insects to school, and also, if they are as big as a car, then there is no insects in my house because they can't come in. And the bad things are, I think if the insects, when they die, and it's hard to be decomposed. Yeah, so some plants could decompose insects, and the plants need to be as big as insects. So if they are as big as a car, then the environment may be destroyed.
Okay. So I think it's a very interesting point that Chopper pointed out that insects might be a source of food for people because they do have a lot of protein. And I have seen some articles about saying that in the future, if we don't have enough animals to eat, then insects is a way for us, and it's a source of protein. Very interesting. Okay, so for discussion questions, why are people afraid of insects, and in what ways are insects useful? Eugene.
I think people are afraid of insects because insects looks ugly, and some of them have lots of eyes or big eyes, and they can fly. They just looks like alien. I think it's the most reason that's why people afraid of insects. And also some insects, they are bad to our environment. And but some insects, they are useful because they could help us decompose other animals' body, and also they are full of protein like chopper seed, and one of useful thing is that some we learn some skill from insects, like for example that the bees can how the bees create their house, and we could learn the skill from the insect. It's my opinion.
Okay, great. And how would life be different if we had giant insects? Chopper. Would we be riding them like horses?
Yeah, I think you provide a good things if we had giant insects. Maybe people maybe can't ride horse, maybe can ride insects. And giant insect may be faster than horse because insects have more legs. And people may choose insects as food. Because they can provide good protein source. Okay, it's my opinion.
Okay, so to practice again, if we're going to make a conclusion, right?
Okay.
Not like, oh, that's my opinion, right?
People may ride insects and choose and eat insects as our food. It's my opinion.
Okay, right. So life would be different, right? So how would life be different if we had giant insects? So you said that it could be a source of food and we could have different animals to ride on, right? So the conclusion would be that is how life would be different if we had giant insects. Okay, do you understand the whole conclusion? Is that maybe you can talk first about your main points and then say that is how life would be different, right? Because I ask you how would life be different? And you're telling me that the way we're eating could be our food choices and the things that we will ride on may be different. Okay, so that's how you make the conclusion, right? So again, we've been practicing for a long time now. I think you should be making a habit of making stronger conclusions, right? Stronger conclusion, not just this is my opinion or thanks, right? We don't want to have like 10 classes and it's just going to be the same. So try to incorporate and think about the question, right? I know in Chinese people talk a lot, but in English we want to condense it, and it's a good habit to tell me introduction, what are you going to talk about, right? And then your main points should be very clear, have examples to support your main points, and then your conclusion, right? What's your conclusion? Life would be different. How would it be different? It would be different by us having different food choices, having different animals to ride on. So it will be very different. Okay. Okay. Third question is, why do people like hunting for fossils? What do fossils tell us? Iris.
Okay. I have been to Butterfly's Fossil Museum before. Yeah, and I think the specimens are beautiful. These fossils help people to learn more about butterflies species and history. Yeah, that's so important in ecologies. So that's reasons is why I think people like hunting for fossils. Yes.
Okay, right. So these are the reasons why I think people like hunting for fossils. Good. Okay, so you stated out what the reasons are. Great. Okay, so what do you think about insects? What insects do you like or dislike? And what do you think about car-sized insects? Which insects are okay to be car-sized? So be a little bit more specific, right? Do you really mind if a butterfly is as big as a car? You see like a butterfly like as big as like, I don't know, it could be like a cow, right? So what do you think about that? Let's start with Iris.
Okay. The first questions about I don't really like insects, but I think if have many insects full of our life, maybe some people will feed them as a pet. Yeah, and if we had large giant insects, maybe, well, it might start have a new market for people to collect insects. Yeah. I know some people have interesting in specimen collections. Yeah. What is this like? Okay, and I like butterflies and ladybug. Yeah. I allowed them as car-sized insects. Yeah. And I dislike cockroaches. Yeah. I can't imagine cockroaches to be car-sized. It would be disgusting. Yeah. And okay, the list insects that can be car-sized is butterfly and ladybug. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, great. Now on to Chopper. What do you think?
I like beetles, and I dislike caterpillars. Yeah. I think if beetles are car-sized insects, I think they are very valuable. And people can collect them, but if caterpillars are car-sized, I think they are terrible and scary. Yeah, because they have more legs. It looks disgusting for me.
Okay, and Eugene, what do you think?
I don't like cockroaches the most, and there is no insects that I like especially, but if if I don't hope that there are parasite insects in the world because it's too scary to me. And also it might be the problems of traffic because sometimes you may have car accident because of the giant insect. So I hope that car-sized insects do not exist. And I think about if it need to be a kind of car-sized insect, and I am okay with honeybees because they could create honey. It might be useful.
Great. Let's see. The next part is about the role play. So for the role play today, I know that most people don't like insects, so this might be a little bit interesting. Talking about which insect you think is the best and better than other insects. So you can think about in terms of maybe their functions or how they're good for the environment or what are things that they can do to help us, right? Thinking of more not as pests, but as some little helpers. Okay, so we have worms, spiders, and ants. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to think about your answers. Eugene, I'll give you worms. Iris, you'll get spiders, and Chopper, you'll get ants. Okay, you come back in 2 minutes. Okay, great.